Hello everyone, it's Jill from What You Wears. Welcome to my channel. I am doing my Q&A today, finally, and we're almost to Christmas. I'm, slipping this right in here in the end, but hopefully I can get through this. Hopefully it's not too long and I don't have to break it up into one and two things, but yeah, I just want to get started on this. So I did break it up into different categories. So I'm going to start with location. The question was, where did you grow up? So I grew up in South Haven, Michigan. It is on the west side of the state. It is a beach town, so it was on Lake Michigan, and everyone thinks, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But growing up in a very small lake town was not the best because there was nothing to do other than go to the lake, and you didn't want to go to the lake in the summer because it was packed with tourists, and in the winter we would get so much snow and you couldn't go anywhere and there was nothing to do. So not all that glamorous, but yes, super thankful. I did grow up there. My parents are still there and I can go back and visit them and take our girls to the beach and stuff. So yes, that was my hometown. I have lived in Michigan my whole entire life. I was born and raised in South Haven. I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan after high school, and then I moved to mid-Michigan after that, which I think is my next question, is where in Michigan do you live? Some people said, why don't you have an accent? And some people said, I hear a very thick accent. I don't know what that means. I just feel like I sound, I don't know, Midwest, I guess? I don't know. I don't know what qualifies as an accent, but apparently I have one to some people. How many layers do you use to bundle up was a question, and kind of like how do you survive these Michigan winters? Honestly, living in mid-Michigan, we really don't get slammed very much. We're kind of in a bubble out here, and we just don't really get a lot of snow. Yes, we have cold days, and yes, we do get a little bit of snow, but it's not bad. I tend to be on the hot side, so I don't really need a lot of layers to keep warm. But I know a lot of people do wear like a lot of fleece and layers and scarves and hats and mittens and double up all that stuff. But yeah, I don't really need that stuff. What is my favorite place in Michigan from a fellow Michigander? And I would say my favorite place in Michigan would be Tawas. It is up north, so here is Michigan. It's always fun to do this. And Tawas is up here. So it is a Lake Huron town. It is the home of my husband's family's cottage. They have had it for over 30 years, actually maybe over 40 by now. Oh, that's crazy. Anyways, so normally in a normal year, a non-COVID year, we go up there several times a year, and it's a huge get together. We play games and we go, walk out to the beach, and it's just the best time ever. And I love my husband's family so much. They are into everything I'm into as far as like games and crafting and things like that. So I love Tawas, Michigan, and it is a cute little downtown area, has super cute little shops, and it's really quiet. So over there, there's just not the big hustle and bustle that there is on Lake Michigan. Like the town I grew up in, it's not as touristy over there, obviously, because it's farther up north. And South Haven was one of those towns that you kind of like round the corner from Chicago, and boop, there it is. All the Chicago people would come to South Haven. So yeah. If I could live anywhere else in the US, where would I live? So my husband and I have talked about this, and I don't think we'll ever move away from Michigan. However, we did go to Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, several years ago for our honeymoon, and it's the home of the Dave Matthews Band, and it's kind of like a little collegey town like we live in, and we loved it. So maybe there, I don't know. Probably just visit though. All right, so family, this is the next category. Do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. So the next question was, where am I in all of that? Am I in the middle? Am I the oldest? Am I the youngest? So I have a younger brother and an older sister, and we are all 7 years apart. Yes, exactly 7 years apart. I think my mom and dad did it so that they would have live-in babysitters. I don't know. It just ended up that way. My mom said she didn't really plan it that way. It just sort of happened. I don't know how 7 years difference just sort of happens, but it did. My brother lives in my parents' town, in my hometown. He did move away for several years, but he is now back. And my sister she took herself out of our family several years ago. So it would be 12 years now. She has a mental disability, and my parents decided to transfer kind of guardianship of her to someone else to kind of take care of her finances and stuff. And when that happened, she kind of took off. So we haven't seen her since. So it's sad. And we just always pray that she's doing okay. But we try to send her cards if we can find her address every year, but it always comes back. So yeah. How did I get the name Jill? So my mom always tells me that my dad named me, and there's no real story to it. He just liked the name Jill. And I'm very much like my dad, more so than my mom. So I feel like it's fitting that my dad named me. Okay, what is your little dog's name? My dog is a Boston Terrier. She's 3 years old, and her name is Izzy. How long did it take the dog and the guinea pigs to get along? Right away. So we brought the guinea pigs in and we let Izzy smell them, and she just sort of like snuggled up to them. I need to insert a picture here because her and Pippi, our little girl that we are keeping that was a baby, were snuggling the other day, and it was really cute. So I'm going to insert that. Wasn't that so cute? I was just dying when I saw that. Okay. Does Izzy do any tricks? Yes, our dog does do a ton of tricks. So she rolls over, she high fives, she shakes hands, she will do like paw and the other paw. She'll do circles, she jumps through a hula hoop. She will sit and wait for a treat. So if we say for her to stay, she'll stay, and then we'll say break, and she'll go run after the treat. What else? I don't know. Lots of little things like that. I taught her, well, my youngest and I taught her very young from the very beginning about tricks, and they just kind of stuck. So we don't even have to say the command anymore. We just sort of motion it and she'll do it. Like if we just knock our hand on the floor, that's when she does her somersault, her roll. Yeah. Okay. Am I currently married? Yes. Is this my first or second marriage? This is my first marriage, my one and only. We met in 2001, this end of summer, well, midsummer, I guess. And we met in downtown East Lansing. So East Lansing, for reference, is the town of MSU, Michigan State University. Go Spartans. And my roommate at the time, when I lived in Kalamazoo, was from East Lansing. And so we had ventured over, and for all you East Lansing people, we met at the corner of MAC and Grand River. And I saw him walking down the street, and I was at a point in my life where I was like, I kind of want a boyfriend. And I told her, like, maybe I'll just talk to someone. And that was so not me, but I was getting, I was halfway done with college at the time, and I was like ready to meet someone, and I knew that I needed to start getting out of my shell. And so I saw him walking, and I just said, hey, I think that I need to talk to you. And that's that. We have now been together for, well, since 2001, so 19 years, and we've been married for 17. Another one was, do I have advice on a happy marriage? So I do have a very happy marriage. My advice would be to really communicate, to constantly be trying to find out what brings the other person joy. And I would also say to take some sort of, so we took I don't want to say counseling, but it was through our church, and it was like, we did it with a few other couples, and it was just a refresh of your marriage. So we talked a lot about like the love languages and like what things we were liking, what things we weren't liking, and then we kind of were able to talk about it out loud with everyone, and then apply it at home. And I think that is one of the big things. And then like praying together was another thing that like really brought us very close together, and praying with your family. I know that there's not a lot of people that believe out there, but anything you can do that's sort of like a closeness like that. Like our family has a lot of like family meetings where we get together and we talk and we say like, what are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your highs? What are your lows? What can we do better as parents? And then they'll ask like, what can we do better as kids? So we do a lot of stuff like that, just a lot of communicating and just making sure that you're not holding back emotions that need to come out. Because I think when you hold stuff in, that's when you just pop one day out of frustration, and that's not good. So communicate, everyone. So someone said you mentioned that you have a daughter. How many kids do you have? And what are their ages? And someone said, how can you have a daughter that old when you look that young? Thank you. I'll just say that. I get that a lot. I guess I have good genes. I don't know, but I have a 13-year-old daughter, and we have a 13-year-old daughter, and we have a 10-year-old daughter. So 2 girls. I feel like we knew we were going to have girls. My husband is just a girl dad. I just fully believe in that. Like, he is through and through a girl dad. I don't know if he would know what to do with boys. So, yeah. How did I come up with their names? So, our oldest is Natalie, June, and her middle name is after my mom, and also after my grandma who named my mom. And then my husband's birth month is June, and my husband and I met in June, the month of June. So we just thought it was very prevalent. And then we just love Natalie. We wanted names that weren't super common, names that were a little bit older, but still relevant today. So that's where we came up with that. And then our youngest is Chloe Luella. Luella is after my grandma, whose middle name is Lou, L-U. And then my husband's grandma, her middle name was Luella. And so Chloe Luella. And then again, we just like Chloe, thought was kind of like an old timeless name. And that's that. What is our favorite family vacation? I love this one because we just went on it 2 years ago. So we did it just in the nick of time, but we rented an RV as a family, and we drove out to Yellowstone and back. And on our way, we stopped at Plum Creek. So if you're a Little House on the Prairie fan, Plum Creek is one of the books and one of the homesteads that the family lived at. And my daughter went bananas out there. It was so cool to see. And then we went to Mount Rushmore, we went to the Badlands, and we went to Yellowstone, and it was amazing. That is like our kind of family vacation. We love being in nature. So that's kind of our goal, is like just doing all the national parks. Career. Did I go to Michigan State? No, I did not. I wish that I had. I think that would be amazing. I'm a big MSU fan. Go Green. But I actually saved all my money. I worked about 3 jobs in high school. I saved all my money, and I paid for cash for my schooling. So I knew that my parents wouldn't be able to help me. So I went ahead and saved every bit that I could all through high school. And I went to community college. So I went to one for business and marketing, and then I went to another for photography. What made you want to become a photographer? Okay, so I grew up an artist and a musician. I played the drums in high school. My husband also plays. And so when we were planning our wedding, I was finishing up all of kind of my, I guess, undergrad. I don't know, community college doesn't really have undergrad, but I was finishing up all my kind of core classes, and I knew that I needed to move on to the next step. What did I want my business to be? I always knew I wanted a business since I was very young, but I didn't know what in. And so when we were planning our wedding and we were going to all these wedding shows, I saw some photographers and I was like, you know what? That is such a great art form. And so I was like, wow, there's just not a lot of photographers out there either. That was, 18 years ago, and when we were planning our wedding. And so I decided that I would finish out my career going to photo school. And so right after we got married, I started into photo school. So that is how that started. I did not start it as a hobby. Someone had asked that. I just went straight into having it as a career, and I have been doing it for 15, almost 16 years now. And someone had asked if this was my only job as an adult, and yes, it is. So I did work part-time through college, but this is my only job that I've ever had. Like, it's kind of insane to think about. They asked, am I a professional, and would I be willing to talk about it? So yeah, totally. I will not talk about it in this video, but I could do another Q&A all about photography if that's something you guys are interested in. I am a professional. I make money, so I think that's what qualifies you as a professional. Do I only shoot weddings? I shoot weddings, portraits. Sometimes I do commercial work. So a couple years ago, I got to work for a car company in Michigan, and we got to go to Vegas to the Consumer Electronic event that they had out there. It's like a huge thing, and I got to photograph a lot of stuff there. So I do a lot of stuff, but my main focus and the thing that I started in is weddings. Oh, a couple people thought I said that I was a teacher too, and I am not a teacher. I have never been a teacher, and I never wanted to be a teacher. I have to say, I give so much props to teachers, and they are some of my biggest heroes, because I can't imagine teaching kids every single year and have to come up with curriculum and kind of having to, wrangle them. So, yeah, high five to all the teachers out there. Besides being a photographer, do I work outside the home? No, I do not. I'm home all the time unless I have weddings or portraits, and then I go out, obviously, do my job, come back home, and I do all my editing and everything in my house. If I weren't a photographer, what would I do? So obviously I'm super into fashion. I'm also into interior design and things like that. So I totally would want to be like an interior designer, or like someone who goes into someone's house and like reworks a room in their house. I think that would be amazing. I love it. And they asked if I would consider being a Stitch Fix stylist. I would love to, but there are no warehouses near me, and so I can't. What does my husband do? He works at a workers' compensation firm, and he does kind of like their computer stuff. YouTube is my next section. What inspired my YouTube channel? I started my YouTube channel because I was getting so many boxes in the mail, and I thought, what a fun hobby. I was watching a few videos at the time that were Stitch Fix, and there weren't a ton of people doing this kind of content at that point. And so I thought, this will be fun. I can do that. That would be a fun hobby. And so I decided to just make a video and start it up. a lot of the questions were, what would I tell someone who is considering starting a channel? And I would say, just do it. Don't think about it. If you have a camera and a way to upload, it doesn't take a lot. I mean, I don't do a lot to my stuff, and I'll talk about that in a second, but don't be scared. Like, just do it. Why not? What kind of camera software do you use? So I just use my iPhone and a little tripod, and I have a ring light that I got on Amazon, I think for like 20 bucks, and that's it. I also use iMovie for just really short editing. I just clip out some stuff that is like bloopers. I should put those in one day, but I just clip out little things like that, transitions, you know. I mean, you'll notice I don't have fancy script on mine. Honestly, I'm not super tech savvy, and so I don't even really know how to do all that. I wish I had someone who could teach me, or I just need to look into it, but I just haven't done that yet because I've been, you know, I have to focus on my work, my like photo work, and so I don't really put a lot extra into my YouTube channel just because I don't have the extra time right now. If I did, I totally would, and maybe one day I will. Maybe even over this winter I will get it so I have like an opening and a closing and, you know, stuff like that. But I just don't right now because I don't have time to figure it out, and I'm just not tech savvy. My husband is, but I don't even know if he would know how to do stuff like this. Someone asked if I would bring my mom onto YouTube. No. So obviously we don't live close to each other. We live several hours away, but they are in Florida now and I'm in Michigan, and my mom is not into fashion at all. That's also another question for later because I have a fashion section. Do I have tips on how to build your YouTube channel? And do my coworkers know? So I don't have coworkers, but I don't think a lot of my friends know that I have a channel. I haven't told them and I don't talk about it. I don't know why, but I just don't. And how do I build it? So I don't know. Everything I've ever done, I've just done organically. I don't put a lot into it because I just want to have things happen organically, I guess. That's what I decided to do with my photo business as well. I said, okay, I'm going to start this. If it doesn't work out, if it doesn't pan out, there's something else for me out there. And if it does work out, then I know that this was meant to be this way. And that's how it ended up being. And that's just how my YouTube has been too. It's just organically grown. I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't do any advertising. I do have an Instagram. I don't have anything on Facebook about it. So it's just kind of like grown from just random people finding it, I guess. So I just appreciate you guys for doing that because that's how I built it. What are some of your favorite YouTubers for inspiration? So my unboxing favorites are Remaking Missy. She's my girl, right here in East Lansing. I love watching her. I think she is just sunshine, and I just think her classic style is great, and she's just a positive person, and I just love that. The Gingham Girl, she's newer on YouTube. I absolutely love her and her husband. When they do videos, they're just the cutest things ever, and I just think, again, she's just sunshine. She's just so happy, and I love watching her. Rachel Reviews, she's another Michigan girl here on the other side of me. Doesn't live that far from me at all. Never met these girls, but I think that, again, she's a positive girl. I just love to watch her. I think she's so sweet. And then Sub Unbox. I don't know where they're located, but they're another couple that do unboxings, and I think they are just hilarious, and I love watching their videos. Some of the ones that are not fashion related would be anything Bachelor related. I'm a big Bachelor fan, and so I watch like some of like the after videos of recaps and things like that. And then also Scotty's Animals. He is a guinea pig enthusiastic, and he works at the LA Guinea Pig Rescue out in California, and he's just a wealth of knowledge, and I just think he's such a cool like hippie dude, and I just love watching him. He has great tips for guinea pigs, and we need that right now. So fashion is my next section. Growing up, did I have a lot of clothes, and did I always enjoy name brands? So I grew up in a household that was lower income, and I always have loved clothes, but I didn't have them growing up. We did a lot of thrifting, and so I would just have to put together things, whatever I could, to kind of make myself look fashionable, I guess. I was definitely called names as a kid a lot, and it was hard. So I think maybe that's why I'm just like so into fashion now, and I love just having different stuff in my closet because I didn't as a kid, and it's something that I've always been interested in. Do I purge clothes every season? I do. So a lot of times I'll just randomly go through once a month probably and try to get things out that I don't wear, because several years ago I completely gutted my closet and took out almost everything, and I'm rebuilding it so I have like a rainbow of colorful things and neutrals, obviously. But what is my favorite all-time Stitch Fix piece? And then someone else asked, what's my most expensive Stitch Fix piece? So I just bought that Market and Spruce yellow jacket. I would say that is definitely one of my most favorite pieces ever, and probably one of my most expensive. So I think that jacket was $88. I did have credit though, so technically it wasn't, but that's probably my favorite and most expensive. And then someone said, do you feel like Stitch Fix is worth it? So after having pieces for several years, is it worth it? And I would say yes. They are still pieces that I wear most often, and the ones that I keep wash and wear really well. I think you really have to be selective in your materials. I do have a few pieces that have fallen apart, and so those were things that were cheaper and you could tell weren't as well constructed. My current favorite subscription to receive? Probably Transcend. Although lately I haven't loved anything on their website, but I always feel like they have the coolest, trendiest pieces that I'm looking for. I love graphic tees and hoodies and things like that, and I think they do a really good job of that, as well as having quality. What size do I wear in clothing? I know a lot of people have asked this before. And I wear a medium large top, usually large, I would say. And I wear 8-10s on the bottom. I would say mostly 10s. And I am 5'4" and around 160 pounds. So that's that. Putting it all out there. Someone else said that they are thinking about starting some unboxing videos, but are scared about the negative content or negative comments that people say. I have had those before, and I think what you have to think in your mind is everyone has a bad day, and it's nothing toward you. Something's going on in their life or in their day that's making them want to comment negatively, and you just have to like let it roll off your shoulders. Like, you're not going to let it bother you. Obviously it's going to bother you a little bit, but I think that's all you have to do is kind of like not think about, like, they're strangers, you've never met them, you're not probably ever going to, so move on, I guess. What is my favorite type of shoe to wear? I would say I really love lace-up boots or tennis shoes. Who inspires my style? I don't know. Anyone who wears just like really chill, casual wear that's sort of put together. I guess I don't really have anyone in particular. What does my daily routine look like? Oh my gosh, I feel like every day is different, but usually I wake up, lay in bed for a while. I usually roll out around 9 a.m., brush my teeth, do all that. And then I will go down, I'll edit for a while or answer emails, have breakfast, yada yada. Lunchtime, usually we'll work out. So I typically walk about 5 miles a day with a friend. And then also I just got a Peloton bike. And so I've been doing that every day as well. And then I'll run errands or go back to editing, make dinner. And then after dinner, we have like family time. And then after that, put the kids to bed and I will edit all night long. I'm not kidding. I edit till like 1, 2 in the morning. So it's kind of like my work. My big work stretch is at night when everyone's in bed. What did your senior prom or any prom dress look like, and does it reflect your style now? So I was like rocker chick, kind of very eclectic back in high school, and I tried to just like put a bunch of cool stuff together, kind of gothic-y, emo-y, rocker. I don't know, lots of like platforms. I mean, it was in the 90s, you guys, so I was like alt chick, you know, like all the rock music, Smashing Pumpkins and Foo Fighters and Nirvana and Janis Joplin and Led Zeppelin, Queen and stuff like that. So yeah, I was kind of rockerish, I guess. Oh, and my prom dress was, I had different ones, I guess. I had a silver one and a black one with lace that I kind of dressed kind of rockish, and then a red one, I think, and yeah, maybe a light blue, but they were all long. Did it reflect my style then? Yes. Does it reflect it now? Maybe not as much, but I feel like I'm still kind of rocker chickish. You never lose that, right? What stores did you shop at prior to unboxing? Target, Loft, Evereve, Gap, Old Navy. Has my style changed? Yeah, definitely a little bit. I just try to get more like unique, interesting things now, and before I was just more like very plain. Travel, what's on your bucket list? Any of the national parks. I want to go to all of them. We love hiking, so. All right, next is like all the random questions. So the first ones are about my hair. I love the first one. She's like, sometimes your hair is straight, sometimes it's more wavy, and sometimes it's really curly. I love it each way, but what's natural? So my natural hair is when it's super duper curly. I have like big spirals, and that is my natural. Obviously, when I was in high school, that's how it looked because there weren't, you know, fancy hair straighteners and all that. I discovered those later on. I try to embrace my curls, especially in the summer when it's humid and I don't really have a choice. But, you know, I like my loose curls sometimes and my straight hair sometimes and all of that. So I've always been a hair primper. I've always messed with my hair. My mom thought I was going to be a hairdresser for sure. And then people want to know what product I use. Let me go get that. All right, so I'm a big fan of John Frieda, and so this is the serum I put in for like defrizzing, and it is the Frizz Ease Bamboo Extract Extra Strength Serum for thick, coarse hair. So I put this in after I shower with wet hair, and then this one also I put in with wet hair. This is the Frizz Ease Dream Curls Daily Styling Spray. So this is for curls. And then if I'm having like really frizz, or if I just want to smell good, or anything like that, I use this Marrakesh oil. This stuff is amazing. It smells delicious. and it isn't like an oily oil. It like moisturizes and feels really good. So you can like rub it into your hands. I'm gonna do it right now because it just smells just divine, like kind of hippie-ish smelling, I guess. I don't know. It's so good. So those are my favorite products. John Frieda's not that expensive. You can get it anywhere. What's my favorite color? Green. Go green. Hopefully some of you are yelling back, go white. What do you like to do for fun? What's your hobbies? I'm a crafter. I am a walker. I love to hike with my family, and I like to play golf. And I think those are the main things. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? I would say I would be like Batman, where I could like stop the bad guys from doing bad things. I grew up, you know, Michael Keaton Batman, so I'm original girl. Do I plan on doing a room reveal, and have I done any other rooms in my house? So we finished our basement over quarantine, and my room is not finished completely yet, so we haven't done a room reveal yet. But yes, I totally will do that. And someone asked where I got my comforter from, and it is from Amazon. What's my favorite thing to do on a rainy day? I would say read. So I'm not a huge reader, but I do love to read. So any chance I get, any extra time like on rainy days, I do love to do that. What kind of genre? So I love whodunit type stories, so like mystery. I also love documentary type, biography type books. What is one thing I absolutely cannot live without? Well, my family, of course, my cameras, my pillow. I love my pillow. It's an ISO-Cool. It solved my neck problems. If you guys are looking for a fix, it helped with that a lot. ISO-Cool. What is my favorite all-time movie? Home Alone. I'm not even kidding. Like, I would say it's definitely up there. I watch it year round. My daughter, my youngest daughter, loves it too. I quote it all the time, and it's just the best. It's feel good, and it's also like humorous, and it's also like suspenseful. I don't know. I just love it so much. Also, I love any movie that has Julia Stiles in it. So she is an actress probably from like 90s, early 2000s. So like Down to You or 10 Things I Hate About You. Those are a couple of my favorite movies from her. What's my current favorite show? Alone. It is on Hulu, and it is a series about people out in the wilderness, and we are obsessed with it. It's so good. You guys should watch it if you haven't already. The last questions are kind of about like quarantine, what we've been doing, and how we've overcome, or things that we're gonna like continue after quarantine that we started during quarantine. And I guess obviously we've had more family time. We've been doing well. We've all been healthy and trying to be as safe as possible. We've been doing a lot of like organizing. We finished our basement. Our kids craft a lot and sew and knit and read a ton. And I don't feel like our lives have changed drastically. And so I think we probably would just keep on keeping on doing what we've been doing. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like things have changed that much, other than we just don't really see people or go do things out with friends. We have a dog. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna end with that. Thanks you guys so much for asking all these questions. There were so many of them. Hopefully this video isn't too long. And I am going to do a little spin of the wheel, reveal our winner of this contest. And I've decided I am just going to go out ahead and send a $50 Stitch Fix gift card to the winner, and I will do that through email. So I will put my email down below, and whoever wins, contact me within a week. If I don't hear from you in a week, I will go ahead and move on to the next person, and I will give them a week to contact me. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and put up a video of me spinning the wheel, finding out who our winner is. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.